welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're laying down the absolute bedrock for anyone who wants to truly master data. Look, whether your dream is to become a data analyst, an AI engineer, a business leader, or, just someone who wants to work a whole lot smarter in any data-driven role, you are in exactly the right place. Think of me as your personal data mentor today. We are going to demystify the numbers, totally clear away all that confusing jargon, and build up your data confidence right from the ground up.
So, to kick things off, I want you to ask yourself a question. What do Netflix, Amazon, major global banks, scrappy little startups, and even your old college attendance sheet all have in common? Just think about that for a second. What on earth ties all of those vastly different things together?
You guessed it, spreadsheets. They all rely on spreadsheets in one form or another. Now, we live in a world where AI, machine learning, and massive cloud computing platforms are getting literally all the buzz. But despite all of that hype, the humble spreadsheet remains, without a doubt, the most powerful thinking tool in modern business. I mean, nearly every data professional starts their journey right here with Excel or Google Sheets because they let us organize information, play with ideas, and make really critical decisions fast. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the exact roadmap we're going to follow to build your data confidence. We'll start with the anatomy of a spreadsheet, move into automating with essential functions. Then we'll learn how to tame the chaos by sorting and filtering data. After that, we'll talk about why this tool is still the undisputed data champion. And finally, we'll cover knowing when to upgrade. Let's start right at square one with Section 1, the anatomy of a spreadsheet. So before we can start running any complex calculations, we really need to understand the physical workspace we're operating in. Every single spreadsheet you ever open is built on a few core parts. You've got the workbook, which is just the entire file itself. Inside that file, you have worksheets, which are those individual tabs down at the bottom. And on those worksheets, that big grid you see, well, that's made up of rows running horizontally, columns running vertically, and cells, which are the individual little boxes where your data actually lives. And honestly, the best way to picture this is what I call the city analogy. I love this because it gives you a permanent mental anchor. Just imagine your spreadsheet is a massive, sprawling city. The horizontal rows, those are your streets. The vertical columns, those are the avenues. And every single cell is a house on that grid. Just like a real house, every cell has a very specific address, like A1 or D15. You just find the column letter, match it up with the row number, and boom, you have your address. Now, why does this matter? Well, this grid system lets us use what we call cell references. Instead of just typing fixed static numbers into our calculations, like saying 5 plus 5, we actually tell the spreadsheet to add whatever is living in house A1 to whatever is living in house B1. This one simple shift is a total game changer. It's what turns a spreadsheet from a boring static calculator into a dynamic engine. Because if the number inside the house changes later on, your final calculation just updates automatically. It's brilliant.
All right, let's move into Section 2, automating with essential functions.
I know, the words functions and formulas can sound intimidating. It kind of sounds like complex math, right? But they really aren't. They're just direct instructions that you give the software so it can do the heavy lifting for you. Let's look at a couple of the absolute most common ones. First up is sum. This is literally just a fast way to add things up, like getting your total monthly sales without manually punching in every single receipt. Then there's average, which, well, does exactly what you think. If you need to quickly figure out average student marks for a semester or an employee's average performance score, you just give the spreadsheet the average instruction, point it at the right cells, and you're done.
But here is where it gets really fun. We can actually teach a spreadsheet to make decisions for us using the if function. It's just basic, everyday logic. You can tell the spreadsheet, hey, if the sales in this cell are greater than 50,000 rupees, I want you to automatically display the words target achieved. But if they're less than 50,000, display needs improvement. You're essentially building this tiny automated assistant that evaluates your data in real time.
And then we have the legendary lookup functions. For years and years, businesses ran heavily on VLOOKUP. Imagine you have a massive list of 1,000 employee IDs, and you need to find out exactly which department one specific ID belongs to. A lookup function acts like a digital bloodhound. It sniffs through your data and pulls out the exact match. Now, VLOOKUP is the legacy standard, and you're going to see it everywhere, but XLOOKUP is the newer, modern replacement. Don't worry about the exact syntax right now, just grasp the concept. These functions let you instantly connect and pull matching data from completely different parts of your workbook.
Okay, let's keep this momentum going with Section 3, sorting and filtering data. Managing chaos is a massive part of working with data. Because, let's be honest, once your data grows past a few dozen rows, finding what you need just by scrolling becomes literally impossible. This is where sorting swoops in to save the day. Sorting just reorganizes your data so you can instantly spot extremes or patterns. With 2 clicks, you can sort a giant HR file to find the highest or lowest salaries. You can sort a sales sheet so the newest orders pop right to the top. Or just clean up a messy customer list alphabetically. Sorting simply changes the order of the information to help you make sense of it all.
Filtering, on the other hand, is a bit different. Filtering is all about intense focus. It lets you temporarily hide irrelevant information without actually deleting a single drop of your precious data. So let's say you've got this massive national sales list, but you only want to see your customers in Delhi. Or maybe you only care about invoices that are currently marked as unpaid, or employees just in the marketing department. You slap a filter on there, the spreadsheet hides everything else, and you get this perfectly clean, focused view of exactly what you need to act on.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at Section 4, the undisputed data champion.
Okay, we gotta address the elephant in the room here. With all the incredibly fancy, expensive software out there today, aren't spreadsheets kinda outdated? The answer is an emphatic, absolute no. Nearly every single company on the planet still uses them. I mean, they are the backbone of finance teams, HR departments, and sales tracking. They handle inventory, budget planning, the whole shebang. From a 2-person startup working out of a garage to massive global enterprises, spreadsheets are everywhere. Why? Because they're simple, they are incredibly flexible, they're super fast, and everyone is familiar with them. Actually, a lot of those fancy Power BI dashboards or AI workflows you hear about, they usually start their life as basic spreadsheet data.
Which leads us perfectly into our final section, knowing when to upgrade.
You know, a true data professional doesn't just know how to use their tools, they know the limits of those tools. Spreadsheets are absolutely perfect for certain things. If you're doing a personal budget, tracking expenses, running sales reports for a medium-sized team, managing small business inventory, or building out a simple dashboard, a spreadsheet is 100% the right tool for the job. It's lightweight, and it just gets it done fast.
But you have to recognize when a spreadsheet starts to break down. If you're suddenly dealing with millions of rows of data, yeah, your spreadsheet is going to freeze and crash. If you have dozens of people trying to edit the exact same document all at once, it's going to turn into a total mess. From massive databases, real-time analytics, complex automations, or training machine learning models, spreadsheets just aren't going to cut it anymore. And that is exactly when you step up to tools like SQL, Python, Power BI, or a cloud data warehouse.
I love using this mental model to think about data tools. Think of spreadsheets like a bicycle. A bike is perfect, fast, and super agile for just riding around your neighborhood to do simple tasks. You don't throw your bicycle in the trash because it's a bad vehicle, right? You just choose to take a car when the journey gets bigger, like driving across the country. Spreadsheets work exactly the same way. When your data journey hits millions of rows, you leave the bicycle in the garage and you jump into the SQL or Python car.
So, let's quickly wrap up what we've unpacked in this explainer today. We learned that every spreadsheet is this dynamic grid built on cells, rows, and columns. We saw how functions like sum, average, and if can literally automate our thinking. We figured out how sorting and filtering help us instantly cut through the noise and focus our data. And ultimately, we realized that mastering this universally valued tool, while also knowing exactly when you've outgrown it, is a massive advantage for your career.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. Great analysts don't just use spreadsheets to store data, they use them to think, explore, question, and discover insights. Look, before you rush out there to learn the latest AI or complex machine learning analytics, learn how to think clearly with the spreadsheet. Master the logic, master the structure. Because if a spreadsheet is just the bicycle, what kind of massive journeys are you going to take when you finally learn to drive the data car? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I will see you in the next explainer.